Hey, everybody. Hello, YouTube. Let's do this.
Well, they say I should approach you with caution, but not to let you be aware of my fear. Never know what you'll find. Don't understand your kind round here. Watching your moves, they look so radical. Hearing your words, they sound fanatical. Something inside reveals you're magical. How can I get enough? You're a strange animal. That's what I know. But you're a strange animal. I got to follow. They've been trying to stick a line in your system, analyzing the defenses you hold, trying to open wide, hoping to step inside your soul. But everything here is unfamiliar. Nothing they've seen remotely similar. How can it be you're so peculiar? How can I get enough? You're a strange animal. That's what I know. But you're a strange animal. I got to follow. I got to follow. I got to follow. How can I get enough? You're a strange animal. That's what I know. But you're a strange animal. I got to follow. Oh, I'm in the spiritus. Wow. Oh, you're a strange animal. That's what I know. But you're a strange animal. I got to follow. You're a strange animal. That's what I know. But you're a strange animal. I got to follow. Oh, I'm in the spiritus. Oh, you're a strange animal. That's what I know. But you're a strange animal. I got to follow.
And hey, everybody. Welcome to Squatch Talk. I'm Pat. How you doing tonight? Tim is here. We're not going to have any production issues tonight at all. So, glad to see everybody here. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. We've got an interesting one tonight. So, I'm about to bring Sam on. I'm not gonna draw this out very long. I just want to say hello to everybody. I'm not gonna run through the list. I see you all. Really interesting story, and I'm just gonna go ahead and bring Sam in, because I listened tonight, and it's kind of a weird flip the script kind of thing, and you guys know that I'm all about flipping the script. So, let's go ahead and bring in our guest, Sam. Hey, Sam, how you doing, bud?
Hey, Pat, what's up, buddy? You doing all right?
I'm doing well. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you last minute sort of allowing me to do this sort of tag along thing with your story, which, by the way, let me go ahead and put this up before we get into it. Sam was on Daniel Benoit's show, his radio show earlier tonight. And let's go ahead and put that up rather than link in the description, which it is. I did put the link in the description, but I'm gonna leave this ticker going for people that can hear like your sort of your story about this, like on that show, because it was it's probably a little bit more like personal and powerful in the audio version, I'll say, than what we're going to talk about here tonight. We're going to touch on these things, but everybody check out Daniel's show where Sam told his story. So yeah, that's where we're at. And so thanks for doing that. Thanks for being here and being a part of my show.
Absolutely.
So, the gist of it is this. You were hoaxed. Legitimately. Yes. You were convincingly hoaxed for what you say you told me is 2 years this went on?
Roughly 2 years, yeah.
Okay.
Roughly 2 years.
Ballpark,
yeah. Like I was saying on the show earlier, that probably the last 6 months it really trickled off. I think more or less the interest probably for them, or the fun, or whatever the objective for them was, I think had worn off, in those last 6 months.
So it wore off after a year and a half.
Yeah.
That's kind of messed up, but
it is, and like I said, I think maybe for some reason something tells me that maybe that they thought they had to keep doing this to I don't think necessarily get their jollies. I don't want to say it that way. Maybe to I don't know, man. I honestly don't know.
Right? Yeah. I mean, a lie can compound itself. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe it turned into, how do we get out of this? Without getting caught. Maybe.
Yeah, because when like I was saying, we finally sat down and talked. There was many points that they would tell me, we wanted to tell you, but all of us were afraid. Nobody had the guts to tell you.
It got out of control.
It got out of control.
So it started as a relatively harmless joke. Is
Yes.
that fair to say?
Yeah, or a way to get me to come and spend time with them at the cabin. Because I mean, I wouldn't go. My wife and kids would go up there, and I just didn't go because I felt like maybe that I just wasn't wanted there.
Okay,
That's
so
about the
that's
best way I can say it.
all right.
You know,
So that's some personal stuff there
yeah,
leading up to the actual hoaxing.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it didn't maybe it wasn't a malicious thing to begin with. Maybe it was born out of love in some weird, sick, twisted way.
Yeah, that's the best way to say it because I'm telling you, when it was all said and done, especially my brother and sister-in-law, I mean, we just cried. They cried and just cried. You know, I mean, that's about the best way I can say it. And just they apologized immensely. I can't say that. But there's quite a few of them that were in on it. And I don't know, man. It was just, yeah. And then when we did talk about it, Pat, there are, I need to send you a copy of the file of the it's about 13 minutes long of the whole video. And there are a couple sounds in there that that I don't know what they are. But it wasn't her playing those. There was only two speakers that were run up in the woods. And they were about so where she was in the outhouse, she was actually in the outhouse. She was about 30 feet away from us, which we were around the campfire, and then those speakers were about another 100 feet up in the woods, up on a hill, and they were about maybe 50 yards apart.
Okay, I understand. I caution you to be really careful about that. But it just for the audience sake, I mean, we don't have to go through the whole thing. We could just touch on some things.
Sure.
So this doesn't have to turn into a heartfelt thing because down
No.
below you guys can hear Sam's whole story.
Sure.
And the reason I'm doing this, dude, is not it was last minute.
Yeah.
It was last minute and because Daniel had already booked Sam as a guest, I'm just being respectful to not like repeat the show
Got
basically, but do kind of an after show. So just want anybody to know that me and Daniel we're not like in cahoots going, hey, promote my show or anything weird like that. This is actually where Sam like really talks about it in a very several different points, emotional state. But let's touch on it. Just give the audience right now, the live audience especially, um, and those that will be watching after, like how did this all begin? What happened? You referenced speakers. What was that? What happened?
Yeah, I mean, so he would play, a couple of what were yells is what it was, and they were they were on an app that she had on her phone. So I mean, they were perceived to be what we know as Bigfoot yells. And I mean, so I thought I was hearing what I was hearing, and then one thing led to another, and it, like you said, it got out of hand pretty quickly, and because see, I contacted Daniel after, and I was like, because I didn't know who to call. I mean, I didn't know anybody in the Bigfoot community, so I just
Mhm.
Googled, close to Bigfoot contact, and he came up. He's the first one to come up.
Of course. Sorry. Yeah. Of course he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I found a lot of friends. I mean, I did several podcasts with him, and um, several people. I don't even know if they're around anymore. I mean, that was years ago, and then one thing led into another. I met Michael Cook. Me and him are still good friends. I've had one great experience with him. We were actually Facebook Live that night when it was going on, and I didn't think anything would happen because let's face it, Pat. Almost every time you go out and the intentions for looking for this creature, rarely anything happens. At least in my book, you
Yeah.
know. Um, and we did. It surprised me that night. It was in Harlan, Kentucky, where the show Expedition Bigfoot. It was based out of there last year.
Mm.
Most of it. I think they did the last part up in. But anyway,
Well,
um,
let's make sure not to convolute the audience here. We don't want to get too convoluted. Let's not jump ahead about like possible real versus what you know was done to you. You
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I didn't know how far you want me to get into the hoax thing, but
Well, I just want to touch on it, and
yeah,
so basically, one night your intermediate family
right,
decided to prank you and play some sounds off.
yeah,
It's some speakers out in the woods, and you bought it hook, line, and sinker. You didn't know what was going on. You were like, "This is weird." Fair
yeah.
enough.
Fair enough. Yeah,
And
yeah.
so then you wanted to explore that further in that area. Is that correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that piqued my interest, and I was like, well, heck, this could be something. And then about a month later, so then I was going up there a lot, and about a month later, found the tracks on the trail that they had hoaxed me with. They were done very well. I mean, I sent them to
So
Cliff. Yep.
they preemptively set you up to find
Yeah.
tracks,
Yes.
and they look pretty good.
Oh yeah. I mean, they were really convincing. And yeah, so casted one of the tracks, and that was of course, my pride and joy. You know, here I've got some actual what I thought was evidence, or
Trace evidence. Yeah.
trace evidence. There you go. Yeah, because I don't really consider it evidence, possible evidence, let's say. But the tracks were very convincing. And then it kind of just stopped. Okay, they didn't do anything for a good couple months, maybe, and then that's when I decided to do the stick experiment. What I called it in all my videos. I've erased them all since then. Um, but I set 3 sticks against a tree, and I come back and check it every so often. Every 2 or 3 days, and like a week or two later, I mean, there's 2 more sticks sitting there, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" You know. So then there again, it really piqued my interest, and then so that whole stick experiment went on for a couple more. The sticks would switch places, go to another tree, just different things. And then I had another experiment next to it with dice, and the dice would be on a certain, combination. You'd come back, they'd be flipped around, things like that. And then about the last 6 months to when I found out, I mean, it really had died down a lot. I mean, you know, I was still going up there, but I expanded my territory. Like, so then I just was like, okay, I'm going to go on a different part of the mountain and see if we can't find something over on this part. A lot of the land on that mountain is family owned, and it's owned by the same like generations of family. Let's say a lot of the land up there.
All right.
Yep.
And I do want to move on to something else, but first I have to make one disclaimer real quick to everybody watching right now. This is absolutely not about judgment on any of the people involved. That is personal business between Sam and his family.
Right.
So I'm not passing judgment. I mean, I know everybody's knee-jerk reaction. I get it, and we can all agree it was wrong. I think everybody would agree it was wrong, even the people involved. But
Yes.
that we are not here to drag out Sam's personal laundry in front of a live audience. That's not why I'm doing this. I just
Thank
want
you,
to
Pat.
make that very clear, because people watching they're gonna start opining, and that's fine. I get that. Um, that
And
yeah,
let me be clear as
that's not
well.
why you're on here. That's not why you're on here.
Yeah, and they're loving people. It's not like they're just pieces of crap or something. They're great folks. I mean, out of this world. Will do anything for you. But I like we said, I think, and that's what they said. It was just a way to get you to come up here and spend time with us, and it got out of hand. And that's the best way that that they put it to me.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's not that's not the core of what we're trying to get to. We're not here for family therapy night.
Right. I got
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Absolutely.
but so you were actually looking at this stuff, um from what I could tell, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not trying to prime you here, but you were looking at this stuff. You were kind of going along with it. You still had an objective attitude towards things, because I heard you say just a few minutes, you were like you couldn't believe it. Like you're like, the stick thing. I can't believe it. So
Right.
that sounds like you had some objectivity along the way.
Yeah. I mean, they were experiments that I was doing, especially with the stick experiment, that nobody else in the community at that time had even thought about doing. Just as just natural, not the dice, not something like a CD. I wanted to use natural. I wanted to go at it natural. Um, and so my whole objective was to repeat that experiment over and over. And what I had done actually, and what got my mind thinking that I was maybe getting fooled, I'd done the stick experiment on another part of the ridge that never got touched. And I never told anybody about it.
Hmm.
See, they didn't know about that. And that's when I started, gears were grinding in my head. And, you know, so the objective was to get this experiment repeated over and over.
Interesting.
Yep.
So did that actually? I mean, how powerful was that grinding of the gears in your head about you even said being fooled?
Yeah.
Did how much of a powerful thought was that? It was just a thought, or were you really starting to wonder, like, hardcore, or are people messing with me?
Yeah. I mean, there were several times, Pat, that that I asked them if they were doing anything, and they would say no.
Mm.
They just didn't have the heart to tell me. In the end, when I did find out, that's what they told me. Nobody had the heart to tell me, because I was so heavily involved in the community. I mean, doing all kinds of stuff.
So
You know,
during this time, you had got uh during the time when you were being hoaxed, right? That 2-year period, you had come into the community and made friends, had
yeah,
conversations, maybe even been on shows, maybe
yeah,
even talked about your experiences.
oh yeah, several times.
Hmm. Wow.
And but and Daniel will tell you. I mean, he was the first person I contacted and told him what had happened. Well, no, Bill Lancaster was, because Bill and I at that time had the documentary going on. And then Daniel was the second person I contacted. And Bill had questioned it when I had taken him up there to get some B-roll footage. He questioned about what was going on, because he was seeing it from an outsider. And, little did I know he was right.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Um let's talk about I want to focus in on the footprints, the tracks,
Oh,
the hoax
yeah.
tracks for a minute, because that's a very interesting example, which didn't get talked about a whole lot in your story tonight. So that's one of the expansions I want to make. Um, so you say they were pretty good.
Oh, they were excellent.
Do you know how they were made?
No, I've never found out exactly. But he did tell me he took time in making them, from what he was checking out online. And he just, plus he's an outdoorsman, a hunter, so knows the woods very well. But they were very convincing because what they had done, the footsteps were they were in, like an ATV tread, so you could see. So it looked like, so the way that he did it, which was very smart on his end, the depth of the creature looked. You could judge it by the depth of the weight of a ATV. You know, the weight of an ATV versus the weight of a creature, and I mean it looked really really good. Sent it off the cliff, and he thought it was a pretty convincing print.
Really?
Almost. Yes, sir. Yes, I'm trying to find those emails between
Okay.
me and him.
Um,
Um,
if I could pause you right there. Shane and Brian, if you're watching. All right. So you cast it.
yeah,
You sent the cast or
yeah.
uh
No. I didn't send him the cast, just pictures.
just the picture.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Mm,
And then I had it with me at the conference. When I say the conference, the 2017 Ohio Bigfoot Conference. Um, Bill was up there doing some filming and helping him out, and I just couldn't bring myself to take it into Dr. Meldrum. We'd spoken about it the night before, and me and
mm,
Dr. Meldrum, but I just couldn't bring myself to bring it in because that back in my mind was saying it could be fake, and I didn't want to bring Dr. Meldrum, of all people, something that would look fake, So I didn't. So I never took it out of the truck. We had it with us, but we never took it out.
all right. So
I can't
Meldrum
see.
never examined it.
Right. I can't see any of the comments, by the way, Pat. So I don't know what people are saying at all.
It's okay. There's nobody saying anything bad about you. I can promise you that.
Well, no, I'm talking about, like, comments about the situation or questions about it. I can't see anything. I just wanted you to be aware of that.
It's all over the place. So I'd
Okay.
say don't worry about it for now.
I'm not worried.
If I see something relevant to bring up, I will.
Right.
Um, there, it's just again, man. It's like it's a knee jerk. I say that knee jerk reaction to, like, oh my god, your family hoaxed you. Like
Yeah.
they at first they were all like, ah, you know,
Mm.
but but they're
Yeah.
on your side. All right, so
Mhm.
the tracks the tracks had you compelled or convinced, but it seems like there is this theme, dude, that you just from what I'm picking out in our discussion here is that there was this doubt in your head, and that you had asked your family at some point, are you guys messing with me? And I'm just wondering what that ratio is in, like,
50-50, and I'm being honest with you because
mm,
I'm a skeptic. I'm skeptical as hell with this subject, and I was before all this happened, but now it's really made me very skeptical about it. But it was always in the back of my mind, and so my wife and my daughter and one of my sons they didn't know about what had happened either. They were just as blindsided as me. They were there. Um, and we would always be like, I wonder if they're messing with us. I wonder if they're, messing with me, get me to keep coming up there. Da, da, da. So that question was always there for the whole entire time. But I was always told, no, it's not us. It's not us. And come to find out, it was them.
and if you could just touch on real quick how you found out.
Yeah. So something very bad happened to me personally with my career, and that following day, my son had some buddies over, and I wanted to show off the my holy grail, my Bigfoot print. That was the holy grail that I had. Just wanted to be that cool dad, and Justin was like, "Dad, that's not real." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, That's a fake footprint." He's like,
And
"Guys, that's fake." He's
and
telling
okay,
me
Justin is your son?
he's my yeah. I've got two sons. Justin is my middle son. He did not know about anything that happened. Like he was there with us that night, and you can hear him in the video. He's like, "What the hell is that sound?" So he didn't know what was going on either. He got hoaxed just like I did, but he found out like 2 months before I found out, and so did my wife, and so did my daughter. And they were like, "Hell no, we're not telling Sam. We're not going to be the ones. He's going to flip out," which I did. So when I found out that I had been hoaxed, man, first off, my heart dropped, and it's hard to talk about it, but I mean, it did. It just dropped, man. I lost everything at that moment. It was all gone at that moment. I'll never forget that moment when I found out on the front porch, and I took that footprint, Pat, and I slammed that some bitch on the ground, man, as hard as I could, and it broke into a million pieces.
Right.
Um, but I had to come to peace with myself and forgive them, um, and try to forget about it. It's hard to forget about it. It's just hard, man. It's just because it was a passion of mine, like so hardcore, and it
Mhm.
just got taken away from me all in an instant, and it just was snatched away. And I'm trying to get that passion back again. So I was a boots on the ground researcher, but I don't consider myself that now at all, at all. But so that's how I found out.
Yeah. And yeah, man, these are hard enough waters to navigate without people people in your actual family uh, kind of muddying them up as much as what happened to you. Um, so I don't blame you.
And at the same time, though, they supported me. Like everything that I did, they supported me. Starting the Mecro group, we had a good group of guys that actually went out, Pat, like 7 or 8 of us. We all had like a kind of a specialty per se. Um, and we had a great thing going. And, the family was always behind me on it. And, I can't say that they were supportive through all of it. And still are to this day, you know, but I don't know if, like you, as many maybe as the listeners and viewers that we have right now, many of my family members don't believe in this creature, at all. And I get that, but there's that possibility. I mean, I I don't know. I still believe there's a possibility. There's way too many accounts, that are too valid for there not to be something out there. There's always going to be that little crumb that's worth holding on to. For me, for me.
well, yeah, and I mean, I'll say to you, Sam, like, look, this phenomena, whatever it is out there. Like, so, the fact that you got pranked and hoaxed, in that way, which sucks.
It's
um, it is out there, man. Like, we're not all getting pranked and hoaxed, dude. You
yeah,
know, um, you know what I mean? Like, you,
yeah,
yeah, you talk to Jay Birch. he'll tell you that there's no hoax in the world that could be done to to me that I saw what I saw is a freaking hoax. You talk to even like Joe and or Vaughn, like all these
Mhm.
guys, man, or man, even Daniel, he's like none of these guys will say, man, that was a hoax. The phenomena is real. And I say if you wanna and this just dude, this is just my personal like sort of heartfelt outreach to you is that you want to continue in this or you want to keep up with this or even go out there and look for them. you know it sucks that what happened to you happened, but that doesn't mean that you can't actually you know have an interaction at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because they're out there, dude. Whatever they are, they're out there, or it happens. Like it's a real thing.
Oh
So
yeah. Well, I don't never believed in the whole orb deal, but I mean, we saw it. A bunch of us saw it. It was like 15 of us. So I mean, there's no denying what we saw on that ridge. I mean, accompanied by yells, what sounded like Bigfoot yells. There again, when I say that, I don't know because I didn't see it. I didn't see what made that yell, but I did see those orbs, on the other ridge. That is a fact. That was wild, Pat. That's wild. I'd like to go see the Brown Mountain Lights. Matter of fact.
oh, I hear you, Ben. Look, I have I don't know. This is probably the sixth time I've said this on air. I have orb footage that I cannot explain. Like I can't explain it. And somebody gave it to me. I didn't film it. They gave it to me. They gave me the whole entire story, you know, that went with it. And I can't explain it. At first I thought, because they're kind of a country bumpkin, if I could say that, very simple folk. And I'm like, you saw fireworks, you saw a drone. Like a lot of people see stuff in the sky, man, and misinterpret what they're seeing. That is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when they showed me the footage, I was like, I can't explain that. Like, I have no idea what I'm looking at, and you are not sophisticated enough to freaking fool me. That's for damn sure. So
Right.
therefore, like, I have no explanation. It's a thing. It's a thing.
Right.
Yep.
And I want to make another thing clear too that and I'm not in no way trying to bash my wife's side of the family at all. That's not what this is about. I just wanted people to know that these things can happen to you. Just be careful on what you believe and what you see. You know, because it happened to me, and you know, I hate that it did. Um, I did lose my passion. I mean, it did. I mean, I lost it, Pat. I lost it right there on the porch. That quick, it was gone. And
I'm sure it was.
yeah, yeah. But I love watching your show and Steve and everybody. And that's what's getting me back into this is you guys are smart, and truthful, and that's what I like. Um, something's going to happen soon. I believe in this community. There's some big news is going to be coming out soon. Um, I just feel it. We're right there at it.
Well, thanks, Sam. I appreciate the kind words. And I've seen you around for a long time, and we've had communications. Just so everyone knows, I had no idea. Like until the other day where you put that video out saying that you're going to be on Daniel's show and why. And I was like, what? Like, I've seen you, you've been a participant in chat. You'll comment, underneath the YouTube videos and like I've known you loosely, right?
Right.
But it wasn't until the other day where I saw what you were going to talk about. I was like, huh? It was like a record skip, what,
Right.
and then last minute today, honestly, last minute. I'm like, you know what? That's where I decided to do my show tonight, or try and do the show, giving you sort of an extra platform to go off of, because Daniel did it on the audio only side. So I'm like,
Yeah.
well, it'll be fair to bring you in on the YouTube side. So
I just wonder if anybody else out there has had this happen to them, and if it has, have the courage to come on Pat's show and talk about it. Because I mean, it'll help you out. It's helped me out a lot tonight. So Christmas is going to be a lot better. I'll be able to really enjoy myself over there this year. I know we'll be able to. So
well,
yeah,
Joe's on your side. He says, Sam, please don't let your passion die. You
thank
can
you.
lend something to this. And I agree with that. I agree with that. And so does Wit. Wit agrees as well, man. So yeah, I mean, I know it took you a long time to talk about this, but like, you really didn't want to talk about this for a couple of years.
Yeah, like I said, I told a few people about it because I mean I had to. We had a lot of things going on at that time, and I felt like what had happened to me that I just had to step away, and I just kind of slowly drifted out, and I'm just kind of now slowly getting back into it, and got a little more time on my hands coming up. So
So
old
what's
COVID helped.
what's your goal? Like, what's your goal, and what will be your approach given what you've gone through?
Right. Yeah. So the approach is just going to be me and my wife. She's always been supportive of me on everything, and of course I can trust her 100%. And nothing special, no technology, and not really going out and looking for Bigfoot. Just going out in the woods, and if something happens, it happens. And that's just the way that I'm going to do it from here on out. I'm not a researcher. I'm an enthusiast, but if something happens, I want to, be ready. I'll have all my supplies with me, but not really with intentions this time of, oh, that tree break, shit, that's a Sasquatch did that, because I've learned that that's 90% of the time it's just nature. So, that's my approach, Pat, is just to go out and have fun in the woods. And if something happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's not, it's not.
Okay. Yeah, so just go out in the woods and enjoy yourself, and whatever happens, happens.
That's it. See, I think if you go out, at least it's for me, if you've got Bigfoot on the mind, then everything is going to seem like it's Bigfoot.
Right.
And then you go into what I like to call the power of suggestion. And if you fall into that, then then everything's Bigfoot. Then you start fooling yourself, and you don't want to start fooling yourself, because then you're just lying to yourself,
I agree.
The truth will never come out. It's all about truth. It's all about truth. I respect the way that people go about the way they research. I respect it 100%. There's things I don't agree with in the community, but like the woo, things like that. Um, that's just personal opinion.
Don't do that. Like this. Don't do
Is there a
that.
lot of people on chat?
Huh?
Is there a lot of people on the chat?
Well, there's 50 plus watching right now, and chat's going by pretty quick. There's probably 15, 20 people in chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. It's 100% the truth of what happened. Yeah, that doesn't happen to everybody, but it happened to me.
And it's an interesting thing that has happened to you. That's not very common. Uh, which again is why I think it's very important. Like I said this earlier, it's like your story is important because it does demonstrate that things can be done. You know, they can happen a certain way where it's not real. It's it's trickery, that can happen.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
I for one am I'm glad to have that discussion with you about that to demonstrate, not only personally for your own benefit, but for the kind of greater good of the demonstration of, yeah,
I agree.
trickery happens. you know, it does,
Yeah.
and
Well, Pat, I hate to jump off here, man, but I'm wore out.
no, it's
So
okay. I know your I know your job, your duties. We can talk about that some other time, but because I have a lot of experience. You and I are,
I've seen your videos.
yeah. You could be my rep.
That's
Let's just say,
the
uh,
goal, and that's the goal. Hopefully, right around the corner. It's looking
well,
like.
hey, I'm sure you could be there soon, dude. I'm leaving that industry as quickly as I can, but but I could talk about that industry with you. Yeah.
All right, my friend. You have a great evening, and again, I appreciate you giving me the time this evening to talk about it, and appreciate all your viewers tuning in tonight. You all have a great evening.
Cool. Thanks, Sam.
All
We'll
right.
talk to you later, bud.
Thank you, my friend. Bye bye.
All right. See you, man. Wow. Powerful stuff. Oops. Hold on. Chat's moving so fast. Slow down, chat. Yeah. I think he's okay with it. Like, I think I think it's okay. Like, um, just from what I gathered tonight, I think it's okay. I think it's all been kind of sorted out. So, like, again, he wasn't here to bitch and complain, about those people and why they, or what happened. Like, he wasn't here to, like, exercise those demons as much as just, kind of putting it out there as an objective thinker. Like, this can happen. So, I'm not sure who to bring in at this point, if anyone. Um, yeah, there's some trust issues there. There'd have to be, but again, man, dude. I'm not trying to be Dr. Joe here and hash out people's, internal business. Like that's all their business, you know. So I'm not trying to hash that out. Um, it sucks. It sucks what happened to him. I feel for him. And if you guys go listen to his story tonight, which was told in more detail than here, um, the emotion is there. It's there. I mean, it hurt him. Of course, it hurt him. You know. Um, so I could tell you this, like Ernie and I have always had a rule, like from 10 years ago or whatever. Ernie and I have always had a rule. It's like no messing with the other person. It's don't like, even if you think it's funny, it's like a prank, don't ever mess with the other guy, Ernie to me or me to Ernie out in the woods. Don't ever mess around with Sasquatch pranks. And that's a hard rule, and we've stuck to it. Just because, it's important. And hey, anybody that wants to opine, you can. If not, we can wrap it up a little early tonight, which I'm fine with too. Well, thanks, Fawn. I'm glad you agree. And I'm sorry if you're in pain, need to get some sleep. I saw what you were saying earlier. Um, been there. Yeah, I mean, and that's it seems to me, my opinion is that, like, Sam, even though he was compelled by this prank and these pranks, he still held objectivity the whole way. He still held it. Um so so good on him. It just seems like him, he's like, it's kind of well, I mean, Joe, do you want to come on the show, Joe, or not? Like, it's Joe, you can, well, here, Joe, I'll just send you the link. You can come on the show if you want. Again, like, I don't want to focus too much on the personal stuff, which is, kind of where you might be, but whatever. This is Squatch Talk. We do things on the fly. It's no big deal. I'm always in control. except when I'm not. Um, and I lost my train of thought. Something about Vaughn. Yeah, and it does. It does. And with that, Joe, I don't have a cool intro for you. Maybe I could do something. I don't know. Like, and ladies and gentlemen, here is Joe. There, I just made it up
That works.
on the fly.
That works.
Right. I'm gonna screen capture that, and now that's gonna be your intro.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So no, I mean I'm not. I'll opine. I'm not gonna get into the more into Sam's personal stuff, because. But what I will say is that from what I get from Sam, and I've seen him in my chats too. He's always been great in the chats, coming to see the shows and all this other stuff, and he's always had good points to make and etc. And from what I get from him, man, Sam's got a good heart, obviously, and he's got a passion for
Agreed.
this, just like everybody else. And what I got from this whole thing is that also Sam is a very, very forgiving man. He is. He's very forgiving, and I hope that this doesn't ruin him. I know he said he lost his passion for it, and I hope he gets it back. Um, if my family had done, I'd be more harsher on my family, and good for him that he's able to forgive them. I mean, it didn't start out, as he said, it might not have been a malicious thing. I believe that it wasn't malicious, but when he did confront him and say, "Hey, man, are you guys messing with me?" They shouldn't have lied to him and kept it going. They should have said, "Hey, yeah, I don't understand why they would, but hey, that's neither here nor there." I'd be real harsh on my family, man. If any of my family did that, I don't think I'd be as forgiving as Sam. So
I
in a
hear
lot
you,
of
dude.
ways, in a lot of ways, Sam, and I'll say this straight out, and if Sam's still watching, I hope you hear this. Sam is a better man than I am. Absolutely.
I hear you, dude. And we are getting the Reader's Digest version, especially tonight on this show. We kind of plowed through a 2 years of BS,
Yeah.
and so I'm sure there's a lot of in between the lines there that happened. That he probably wasn't real happy and didn't have a lot of good words to say to people.
Oh,
But
I'm sure.
you know, um, that's what happens when you're emotionally your trust has been broken, and
Yeah. And
uh,
that's the key word right there, man. That's
yeah,
the key word is trust. You
yeah.
know,
But
it's
again,
hard to
I'm
it's
not,
hard
I'm
to
not,
regain that.
yeah, I'm not trying to judge
Right.
anything on any level of his personal life, dude.
Right.
That's between him and his family,
Right.
and that wasn't the point.
Right.
It was sort of the like we've never really heard this before in this way in the Bigfoot world, and Sam was willing to tell it.
Absolutely.
And
Right.
it took him 2 years to
Mhm.
get to the point where he was willing to go on air and be honest about it. And we never heard this before.
Yeah.
We have Brent with the tree and things,
Right.
examples like that, the
Right.
Bigfoot tree and all. Like, we do have those examples, but like this example, dude, where
Close to you.
somebody was really compelled in that kind of way,
Hmm.
footprints, sounds, moving the sticks around, like this trifecta of,
Yeah.
oh my God, is this really happening? Like that is, in and of itself, dude, is like, we've never heard that in the Bigfoot world. Anybody
Right.
be able to say I was hoaxed in these ways altogether, right?
Hmm.
Pretty powerful, in my
Absolutely.
opinion.
Absolutely. And I applaud Sam for sharing it because, like you said, the point is, it's not about his personal dealings with his family. He's dealing with it in his way. The point is that Sam shared it to show that this stuff can happen. That's why you have to stay objective when you're doing this, because this kind of thing obviously can happen. You know, I mean, it's sad that it was somebody that was in a place of so much trust, but still, there it goes. It can happen. So, got to stay objective, man, because you never know.
Mhm.
You
And
know.
and what's weird, even more strange to me, is that he seemed to carry some level, whatever it is. I can't judge what that level is. I'm just picking instinctively. I'm picking up on, there's some level of objectivity he actually carried through that whole experience.
Hmm. And good for him on that one too.
Yeah,
I mean, if somebody's not strong enough, I mean, it could have went so much worse for somebody else. Sam has a strength of character, obviously.
he's a good dude.
He has a strength of character, which is rare in a lot of people, man. You know,
Yeah, it's just yeah, it's it's just an interesting thing. And again, like, I don't want to. I'm not. Oh God, I'm just so scared that, like, especially after everything we've been through, Joe, in the past couple of weeks, like, where it seems like people are getting thrown under the bus. It's like, I'm just having trying to have a fair discussion about
hmm,
getting hoaxed.
yeah,
That's it, man.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, and it happens, man. It happens. There's no denying that it happens. I mean, and unfortunately, to me, it seems like it happens more often now. You know, that could just be my perception because I've seen a lot of it being presented here. And granted, some of it's just older ones. I'm not talking about the older examples that come back around and people have to remind people that no, that was a hoax.
right? Yeah,
There's people probably out there right now thinking up a new hoax that they can do. It's just it seems to have become the nature of the beast for some people for some reason. I'll never understand anybody's motives for doing it. The motives in this one were stated, um, and they're a little different than I think what most hoaxers' motives are. But
yeah. It's a very unique thing that happened to
yeah,
him. I'll agree with that. Yeah, mhm. But still, I mean, he. I mean, it's like all the bases get touched. He casted a track.
mm-hmm,
He heard something that made him, you know, like, curious enough to,
mm-hmm,
or lean in the direction of Bigfoot.
mm-hmm,
He he tried a experiment with, sticks, leaving sticks, like, you know what I mean? It's like he touched on every bit of trace evidence that people talk about.
mm-hmm,
And obviously, that doesn't explain the phenomena. It's just that it is an example that we should all be willing to admit, yeah, this can happen. People can misinterpret what's going on.
mm-hmm,
They can be fooled.
mm-hmm.
There are hoaxes that happen, and I just, that's kind of my direction with it.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, but it goes to show you, that these things were happening, and yet, um, Like a lot of other people, it could have gone on for even longer for some people, because of being primed. But there was a point where Sam was like, wait a minute, somebody messing with me. He kept
He
that,
was thinking that. He
he
made that
kept that
clear.
kind of that objectivity in there. And like, I mean, and look, do, do I think that sometimes, like if I find a footprint, which is very hard to do around here, trust me,
Yeah.
one of the first things that goes through my head is, okay, is somebody messing
Except
with me?
except when it snows.
Right. Right. Except for it snows.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's always going to be in the forefront of my head, really. Is somebody messing with me? Is this real or not? And he
Mm.
was able to keep that in mind, which is what brought him around to discovering the whole hoax, because he wasn't just accepting everything. He wasn't letting somebody pour big foot sauce, as you say, over everything. He kept his objectivity, and he discovered that. Sadly, but
Yeah.
and just like I said, I just hope, and it seems like possibly he's going to, get over this, and I hope so. I hope so, because what I said, I meant. I think he has something to lend to this. So
I
I hope he regains his passion and
I
doesn't let this totally
I
destroy it.
yeah. I think tonight was a big night for him as far as that all of that goes, because it was he finally got to exercise that demon, you know, like get that monkey off his shoulder, no pun intended. Uh you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also deal with some of the personal stuff at the same time. Um and I was privy to that in some way. Um and I'll just leave it at that, is that, you know, um it and now it's out there, and so, like, I think that just that relieved a lot of pressure that he finally needed to exercise. That's
Yeah.
just the feeling I got from him.
Yeah. And I hope that he sees that. Yeah, I know he said he couldn't see the comments, but um, except for when you brought him up, but I do hope he
Yeah.
sees that, there is support for him out there. We'll support him, man. I'd hate for somebody to give up that really has a passion for it, and he seems to be somebody that could really lend something to it. He's very, he's just not just, he keeps a good frame of mind about it. And that's what we need, is people like that, so
Right.
I hope he saw that, there is still support for him in this quote unquote community, you know.
Yeah, and again, I don't like John. I don't want to get into the personal. Like, that was all addressed. We addressed the personal side of it, like, as comfortable as I wanted to. Um, so, um, thanks for the comment, John. I appreciate it. But it's just, you know, I, I just wanted to make it more about, the actuality of, what happens in the real world. And Nikki, welcome. Hey, Nikki.
You surprised me. No. What's
Okay.
going on? Hey,
Hi,
Joe.
Nikki.
Hey, I don't know if you've been keeping up, or if you're joining cold.
Little bit. We were having difficulties. So doing the second radio show, so we were popping in. It wasn't working out. So
Well, that sucks.
we'll have to try again later. Um, he needs better signal.
Yeah, it's okay. So, I
So
don't
I'm
know what.
here
Okay,
because
well, welcome. We had Sam on already. He's gone now, but
I saw the beginning. Yeah, I did. I was able to see the beginning of it. So
yeah,
yeah, it's a traumatic event. I mean, this happened a long time ago. I was one of the first people he told as well, and it was rough. It was rough back then. It's rough now, but eventually it'll come to a maybe not a closure, but a reckoning. He'll that's his deal with his family, so it'll be okay.
yeah. Again, man, with the personal stuff, like I don't want to. I'm not trying to turn this into a Doctor Oz show because
Oh, why not?
I'm not Doctor Oz, and if I could bring Doc Oz in, I would.
Nor
You
are
know,
you Dr. Joe, and I'm not a doctor, by the way. So,
right? um, but yeah, I mean, I just thought it a very interesting story that I've never heard in the Bigfoot world. When Sam came forward, and he may have came forward privately with you guys, but when he decided to go public with it, I've never heard anything like this in the big. I've never heard anyone say I was hoaxed for 2 years, you know, and I
Right.
I bought it pretty much hook, line, and sinker. Maybe not quite, but 75%. And I've never heard that before. And I'm like, well, we got to talk about this, because I've never heard
Yeah.
it. I've never heard of it ever.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
and again, so I mean, that is one of the good things that come out of this is the fact that he's willing to share and bring something like this to the forefront and let people know that hey, it can happen. It happened to me. It could happen to you. I'm not so egotistical that I don't think that I could ever be hoaxed. Pretty sure I could be.
Yeah. I mean, it happens to the best of us, I suppose. I mean, there's a ton of stuff out there that I wholeheartedly believed was something that could be really credible. And it turned out it wasn't.
Hmm.
So, but at the same instant, I that's not our life. Bigfoot may seem to be our lives, you know, but it's not. Our lives are with our family, our friend and families. Now, his friend and families got involved in that, and that's where it stings.
Hmm.
It stings because now he has to live on both sides of that. My Bigfoot life, my Bigfoot family, they're quite separate from my real life, you know.
Hmm.
And I mean, recently, some of you got to see my real life, because I had a couple of morning shows. But, it's my stuff that happens here, it affects me, but it doesn't rule my life. And it shouldn't rule. It shouldn't be that way either.
Right.
You really need to have your priorities straight. And that's why Rick Dyer never got to me. He doesn't piss me off now. Because why do I care? You know, I I should care because he can make other people gullible or take advantage of other people, but that's not me.
Right.
So, do I should I feel bad for those people who want to believe in everything and drop everything to give money to people? And we all want to be kind-hearted. I'm not saying being a hard ass, by all means, I don't mean that, but you need to set limits for yourself as well.
Hmm.
Um, and I know sometimes that's not the fun way of being involved in this topic. So,
Yeah.
we want to bring it upbeat, and we want to believe and all the stuff coming out, but I think I just have been in in the community for like a long time, where I've already gone through all those stages of absolutely loving everything I see, absolutely believing what I see, um, all the stuff everybody's finding is amazing, and I've just passed that hurdle already. So,
Yeah.
uh,
We've all been
which
in that.
made me skeptical. It's made me pretty
Yeah.
hard in the topic.
Well,
But
after a while, you do. You become even more skeptical of things that people are putting forth as evidence. I mean, you can ask anybody. You can ask um, Leon. Lots of people. I mean, we've
right,
all been in that situation where, okay, we've been hoaxed. I said I could be easily hoaxed too, probably. Um, in a way, I have been hoaxed because there have been hoaxes that have been perpetrated that I was like, holy crap. Oh my God, that's really a Bigfoot. And then find out that no, it's not. And then I go, oh, man, really?
right,
I mean, it wasn't
Right.
to the degree. I mean, these were people that weren't personal to me or anything else.
right.
Um, that
Yeah,
is that would sting more.
and you
But
shouldn't make it personal. I mean,
right,
you really there's a fine line there, about making people your best friends and stuff like that, and believing everything they say. But if they do something that is not ethical, that is not um, standards, you know, and becomes a hoax, you need to think about that now. Are you going to support your friend top to bottom, no matter what the circumstance, or are you going to say, hey, this was wrong and you need to say something because I can't support you anymore?
right.
And
And a
those are
lot of
tough.
us,
Those are tough when you make friends, you know?
and I think a lot of us in the circle that I'm in, if people want to talk about these circles and whatever, uh, yeah, I mean, I think any one of us would be like, if any one of us saw any of us doing anything like that, we would have to say that exactly, Nikki. Be
Mhm.
like, look, man, uh, no, I
Absolutely.
can't support you in this, man.
Mhm.
I can't do it. You need to come clean because
Right.
and whether I decide to say something about it or not, I may not. But if I'm asked, well, why? Then I'm going to have to say, well, this, I don't support this because of X, Y, Z. But yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of us are ready to do that. However, there are probably some in the Bigfoot community who don't look at it that way. Their friends are friends, and they'll go along with whatever, you
Mhm.
know, and that's sad, but
Um,
yeah.
It is, but look, every day somebody is trying to pull one over on us.
Hmm.
Every day. Every day there's new videos that are uploaded to YouTube and people are just sucking it in. They're just drinking the Kool-Aid. And no, not enough of us are saying, "Hey, you better check this out."
Yeah.
You really think a big old orangutan is going to be sitting there in the woods staring at you like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the best you can do with stuff like that is you can point out that, hey, this is what I found out. This is actually this. You can go right here. And if you don't believe me, you can see it for yourself. And you got to kind of leave it up to them. You know,
Yeah.
if they don't want to go there, then you can't force them to.
Right. Well, just like, some of us support some people and some of us don't support those people.
Right.
It's everybody's choice. You
Right.
know, I made those choices a long time ago when I decided that, oh my gosh, I don't like their research. I don't like what they're presenting. I don't like their videos or their audios or whatever they're saying they have. I don't like it. So I just moved on. I didn't
Yeah.
leave comments saying your stuff is bullshit or whatever.
Right.
Some I did, you know, in the early days,
Yeah.
like 6, 7 years ago, I would,
Yep.
this is BS. That is
Yep.
not what you're saying it is.
Mhm.
And it just got you a lot of grief most of the time,
Yeah.
you know?
That's why I say, I mean, isn't it weird that it really comes down to, even with this, right? And I've found a way around doing that instead of being like you just said you were, the old me, where I would just type out something like, this is total bullshit. I don't do that anymore. I will say, well, I'll tell you what, I don't believe this, and this is why, because I have found that this is actually what you're looking at. Here's the link or whatever. Go check it out for yourself. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. It always comes down to, you can lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink, though. So you can lead them to the truth of something, but you
Right.
can't make them accept it if they're not going to.
Yeah. I think articulation is more important than ever.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of
Um,
people, they just want the roses and the daisies. That's all they want to see.
I know,
That's
but
this is their little happy place.
if you're gonna bring persuasion or opposition, let's say, to the sort of the waters, of normal, typical, everyday red circle blob squatch BS. Just if you're gonna make your case, articulate it well. Don't do the this is bullshit, because that right there is gonna trigger. That's a trigger to
That puts up a
the
defensive
opposite.
mechanism
Yeah,
with the person putting it out. And
yeah,
really, it's not the person that's putting it out that you're really trying to reach, tell you the truth. Because I think in most cases, they know that it's BS. So what the people you're trying to reach is the people that they're putting this out to. And so, yeah, to say that, to do something like that, automatically puts the hackles up on the person that's putting it out. And you don't want that, because then the people they're putting it out to just look at you as being a mean guy or a mean girl or
Yeah.
whatever. So
yeah.
you have to do it in such a way, like I said, you find out the information and you present it and say, well, look, go check this out yourself. You can find it just as easily as I did,
Yeah.
and make up
Right.
your own decision.
Exactly. I was just going to tell you that's perfect.
Yeah, exactly, Leon. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. If you're in opposition to it, for sure. Hey, whatever degree.
Look at how much controversy got started up on that stupid audio that got played on Mog's show. You know?
Yeah, and
It's so
that
stupid.
is
That's just
conclusive.
yeah. It
That's
totally
conclusive.
is.
Like that is like the ultimate debunk,
Did you
right?
see last night's show? Did you see Mog's show last night?
No, no,
Oh my
I caught it
god.
after the fact.
no.
Oh god.
I have no idea.
I saw it on replay.
What can you give me
Yeah.
like
Well,
what are you talking about last night?
Moggs was totally telling the truth about what had happened, and it was pissing him off that people were threatening Donald and stuff like that. And then
Okay.
up comes DW, who I'm assuming is Darkwing at this point. I'm not sure about
Dark
that.
Waters.
Dark Waters. Sorry, Dark Waters. I meant Dark Waters. And he said that it was all bullshit and that Donald was trolling.
He wasn't trolling.
He wasn't trolling at all, but
No.
Moggs just kind of let it go because he doesn't want to stir shit. So I understand that. It's a show. He didn't want to start shit. But and then he went on to say that he blocked Donald on all the channels that he has or is associated with or whatever, because he
Who-
doesn't want to deal with trolls. He's the troll as far as I'm concerned.
who blocked Donald?
DW.
Oh, Dark Waters. And that's bad stuff. That all that channel, that person, that's all bad stuff.
It was wrong. It was 100% wrong. And then he made, if I'm correct, Sandra, if you saw it, was it Sandra who just said she saw it? Yeah. Didn't he say that audio was from something they had gotten? 3 days or whatever
3 days
before
before
Thanksgiving or after
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. He said that
Yeah,
on there too. So now
in these
he's a
woods.
hoaxer. Now he's a liar, this DW, because that audio is flat out from that old movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's 100% been like thrown out there. I mean, how can anybody disagree with that?
Yeah, Mox
Any
had his
rational
back, but
person. Yeah.
he wasn't going to stir the pot because I
right,
would have gone ballistic.
right. Well, if I'd have been on the show, I would have tried to do it diplomatically. Look, I'm not getting in. I'm not going to be drawn into a war of personalities, no matter how hard people over there try. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I simply stated that look, this is a audio from a movie from 1975 called Sasquatch: The Legend of Bigfoot. And further investigation and further research actually found out that the original audio that was used in that movie, that is actually an audio that Roger Patterson had made up because he was trying to approximate what he said was a sound or a call that he had heard one time. So he tried to reproduce as close as he could the sound that he heard, and that's what they came up with. And then that went on from there to be used in shows like In Search of, probably had it on there, I do believe, and definitely that movie, the Sasquatch: The Legend of Bigfoot. And that's all I was saying is
Mhm.
that, hey, man, and if you don't look, you can go to the movie. You can look that movie up. It's free on Tubi, and you can watch it.
Yeah.
Now, whether they want to say, well, that's not right, I really did, whatever, okay. But I'm just saying, make up your own mind about it. Go watch that movie, and it's in there. And to me, it sounds exact.
Right.
So now it's
Has
either
anybody
that he
seen
knows
this
that,
Dark
or
Waters
if he
before?
doesn't
Does he
know
have a
that,
podcast or something?
I suppose there's a possibility that somebody was hoaxing Vault. But do you believe that?
Okay, that could be a possibility.
That could
I
be a
could get
possibility.
behind that they gave him that audio and said, "Look at this," and he went, "Wow," because he had never heard it. Now, that I could understand, you know.
I mean, there's just a
But
lot of possibilities out there, and that is something that, I mean, like Pat pointed out, man. I mean, that particular call, especially for a lot of us have been in this for years and years and years, we've heard that. It's pretty famous, really. It's pretty well
Oh
known
yeah. I
audio.
mean, it's case closed. And Donald saying, nope, that guy claimed he
Well, I
recorded
know
it.
he said he recorded it. What I'm saying is that it could have been, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, it could have been somebody out there with that recording that played it, and then he recorded it as well on his cell phone or whatever.
Maybe.
Maybe,
I mean,
somebody could have been hoaxing, I suppose. But I mean,
Donald, send me the names of some of these people.
uh-oh. Uh-oh. Nikki's gonna get names. It's all over now.
Well, I know who can shut it all down.
Yeah, I know. Hey, evidently, Nikki, like you have the platform for that,
Right.
you know, and so I've just come to the realization and conclusion. I'm like, I need to scratch my itch on your show, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So you
I
have the
know what you're
platform you
saying.
do. Everybody respects your show for what it is. I could just come on your show and kind of and scratch my itches there.
Oh
So
man, well, we're gonna scratch some itches on Sunday for
all right,
sure. I've
all
been
right.
putting off this show for a little while, but now this kind of a controversial show is gonna happen on Sunday.
Well,
So we'll see what
I'm
happens
I,
after
I'm
that.
there if you need me. If you need me, again, I'm there. And if not, the next
I'm
week
kind of
or
like,
whenever.
ooh, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
So yeah, I'm learning. I can scratch some itches on Nikki's show. Um, yeah, and yeah, there's. All right, so as far as all that goes, it's like it is what it is.
Yeah, it is, and we could let it go.
It's
You
all
know,
bullshit.
we really could. But what got to me is the threats after. That's the part that should have never happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You know,
It-
I was willing to say, oh, what, kind of like, what a loser. You tried to do that online with 70, 80 people watching,
Yeah.
you know, and let it go at that. And that would have been that. We would have called him out and done. But now people who support him are all getting involved. And that's what's kind of weird.
oh, it's very weird.
So that is
Yeah,
what,
it's
why
very
I
weird.
mentioned it
It's
now.
very real, very real. And
Yeah.
that's
Well,
boy, you talk about crossing the line, man. You start making threats.
no.
You don't want to
I
do.
haven't. I haven't received any threats yet. I hope. What are you going to beat me up and take my lunch money, as Sean says? But
Yeah,
look, like I said, it goes back to the thing: lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink. I put out the
Right.
information in a comment, and people can go and decide for themselves. And that's where I'm leaving it. I've already said what I had to say about it, and I stick by it. It's a sound from a movie, and
Mhm.
it's a sound that Roger Patterson came up with originally in like 1968.
Yeah.
it is what it is. What it is, what it ain't, and it ain't a damn thing. Uh, but going back to Sam, like, good on him. And Nikki understands this probably more than I do, man. There was not an easy thing for Sam to do, I think,
Mm-mm.
tonight.
Nope.
And we actually, Nikki and I saw that play out in real time, like right up to the wire, you know. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, good on him, man. It's an interesting story. Again, I've changed the ticker now, but the ticker of this whole entire show, you can go listen to Sam talk about it much more deeply and much more like intimately. It's definitely worth checking out, hearing his whole story from beginning to end. Um, so please do that. But we're gonna wrap it up, I think, here,
Yeah,
guys.
no problem. Thanks
Um,
for letting me opine.
yeah, no problem, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that's you. Do you know anything about Squatch Talk?
Oh, wait a minute. I think I've watched that a couple of times.
Yeah,
I think so.
we're
Yeah.
we are all about opining here.
Yeah. My
So
last words are, "Hey Sam, don't let it get you, man. Glad you've come to some resolution on it, and stick with it, man. Stay with the passion because you got support, brother."
cool. I second that.
Hey,
Nikki.
Lockbeard, message me. Would you message me, please, Lockbeard, on
Oh yeah,
Facebook Messenger if you can?
you need to talk to
Because
Lockbeard.
yeah,
Do
I need to
you are
talk to
you
Lockbeard.
are you connected with Lockbeard?
See, that's what I was just looking for. I don't think I am.
Um. Okay, so
Just,
I can
just
put you in. I can definitely put you in touch with Lockbeard through email,
no.
Nikki.
I don't want to email. I want to chit chats.
Well, well,
I
I
want to
don't
chitty chat.
know. Like Lockbeard's never picked me.
Ah,
Lockbeard, I don't know if he even has a Facebook
I
profile.
know. That's what I was wondering too. I was like, all of a sudden thinking, I don't have his.
Okay, well, if you need
Um.
to communicate with Lockbeard, I can
So
hook you
okay,
up
yeah,
through
give me
email.
that. I guess I'll take that too.
Oh wait,
Whatever.
Lockbeard saying, "What's your Facebook?"
What's my
Nikki Colon.
favorite? Nikki Colon. Cologne.
COLON.
Cologne.
All right. So I don't know. Lockbeard hit up Nikki NIK
Okay.
KI like
I was gonna
Nikki
say my
said.
name's up there, but you don't have it up there.
Yeah, no, because it's your YouTube channel, so I can't.
Oops, it didn't even go. Look at that.
Anyway, or Lockbeard hit me up on Facebook. We're like, I'm not connected.
Oh, thank you,
Lockbeard.
Patrick.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Got you. Thank you.
Already happened.
Yeah. It's done. Done deal.
Why am I
Because
here?
I couldn't remember his first name.
See, when great minds get together, things get worked out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I mean, we were solving crossword puzzles the other night on Nikki's show, left and right. It was amazing.
Fun. That was fun.
I was blown away.
You know how much that puzzle cost me?
I don't know, but you did a good job.
Yeah, that was fun.
Good job.
It's super cheap if you buy the subscription, of course. But I just wanted to try it out. So.
All right. I think I'm going to call it, guys.
Sounds good.
It's an early show. It's not a 6-hour show.
That's good because I didn't sleep last night. Is something in the air? Nobody's like sleeping. I think I was exhausted from making tamales.
I don't know, Nikki, but I had fun watching you make tamales. What was it, yesterday? It was. I actually had fun watching.
A lot of people did because I was on there like 2 hours before I knew it, and we were just chit chatting. So it was fun.
I was like, this is super casual.
They saw me making the red chili the day before. And then I said, you guys you want to see me make tamales? And several of the gals were like, yes. So I did. It was
The
fun.
only problem with that is I want tamales now. Damn
I
you,
know
Nikki.
everybody wanted me to send them tamales, but sorry. Those are all spoken for.
Well, dang it. I mean, if you could ship some to Georgia, that'd be cool. But
oh yeah, everybody.
That's a pain in the butt.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
If I had my neighbor saw it, now he wants to come over in the morning, and I said, "Don't come before 9." I have to give my neighbor some.
Oh yeah, that's a given. Thanks for watching, guys. You can check out Nikki making those tamales on her channel.
Oh, I have to. It's like private. I don't know why I didn't approve it yet.
Oh, really? Well, you should make it public.
I am. I'm
But
gonna
you can still check out Nikki's channel where?
Hairy Man Hoaxes and Hoodwinks.
Right above her head there.
Right.
And you can check out Joe at Western New York Bigfoot. We're going to get together and hang out and have a good, fun Bigfoot time. Investigation group.com.xyz.ru over there at that channel. Right, Joe?
That's right. Hey, I'm happy I'm not the one with the longest name out there, I found out. So
yeah, there's something else with 2 more dots or something. You know I say that in jest, brother.
absolutely. It's funny.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna go to the end creds. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for being here. I appreciate every single one of you, and I mean that to the bottom of my heart. I do.